Okay, so before I start the purpose of this video, or the main reason why I'm doing this video, I just want to point out quickly about the consultancy services and also pre-purchase, Peugeot pre-purchase inspection services. So, for anyone that wants to contact me privately that need a Peugeot specialist or Peugeot expert advice or need a solution to, advice regarding his Peugeot issues, you just want to see some clarification or for whatever reason that you need an expert to explain regarding Peugeot for you. Yeah, you can contact me privately, but it's not for free. You have two options. Option one is you pay 3,000 naira for now for me to respond to your question. That's privately, either via email, WhatsApp or Telegram chat, or WhatsApp or Telegram phone. That's call, audio call. It depends. You could even do the normal phone call, depending. You will be the one to call anyway. So, or you want me to do a video on your case and forward to you. You pay this amount. It's a one-off service. So, if any question you have, it means once I respond to that, if you need another question, you have to pay another one. So that is it. Or if you want another option, you pay 50,000 naira. That's option B, which is full 5-year consultancy services. So anytime you can always ask. Of course, you don't have to call in the middle of the night. But the point is, you can always call, reach me anytime. I can always respond. Even if I'm very busy, I will make out time. So, you want to buy a Peugeot vehicle and need an expert to inspect the vehicle for you and recommend or advise. Based on the Peugeot vehicle model you are interested in. Yeah, this service also covers it. This 50,000 naira option B covers it. Of course, there are conditions which I didn't list out here. So if you are interested, I can forward that conditions for you to read through so that you understand in details. But aside that, you can always, like I say, for that conditions, you understand that I'm trying to, because that will take much time trying to explain it here. So if this option B means you can always, it's no longer just one question. For the next 5 years, yeah, I'll provide the service. So but if you don't have if you don't want to pay, but you want a free advice, yes, then what you do is you go to my YouTube channel. Of course, if you're watching this video, you are in the channel. Go there, go to any of my videos or posts, and ask your questions, make your comments, whatever you do that you want me to respond to, which I will do at my own time. Could be once in a week, once in 2 weeks, or twice in a week, depending, or it depends on when I have the time. I'll go to respond to some comments or questions. That is for free service. This one I'll do the free service. Please, if you want free service, I don't want to pay, don't contact me privately. Don't call on the phone. Don't start message. If you do that, once I see you are not ready to pay, I'll ignore you. If you are persistent, I'll block your line. It's as simple as that. So, if you I provided a free service for you. You have two options. So if you believe you cannot afford to pay, do it here. However, it doesn't mean that it's all the questions that or comments on the channel that I will respond to. I'll pick and choose among all the ones there. Probably the ones I've not talked about before, or probably even though I've talked about, but I just want to, say it again or explain or whatever. It depends. So if you don't want to pay contact, if you don't want to pay, don't contact me privately. Everybody has a private life, just like you do have your own life. So if you are contacting me for that, then you have to be able to pay, so that whatever I'm doing, which I have to stop to attend to you, means yes, you paid for it. That quality time I'm giving for you, not calling and to harass my private life and feeling entitled. Do it here. If you want free service, do it on my YouTube channel. Don't send me WhatsApp message requesting for free service or advice or email or trying to make phone calls. If you're not ready to pay, I will ignore you or block you. You can only contact me if you want to run a business. You want, like for example, you want to buy a pass from me, or you want me to diagnose or repair your vehicle for you, or you want to pay for any of these services I listed. As far as Peugeot is concerned. So if you're interested, this is a number you can always reach me on, which you can see on the screen, either via Telegram or WhatsApp. For now, it's specifically for messages, WhatsApp or Telegram chat. I only do phone call, audio calls on people that have made that payment or pay for any of these options, or the consultant services or pre-purchase inspection, or you send email as you are seeing on the screen. All right, so I hope this has. So let me go to some comments now. For those who probably will want to pay, it means I can, like I said, I can just, once you make that payment, we can talk on the phone, explain everything without any need to even do a video or type a message. It depends, so I can attend to you immediately right there. Even if I'm busy doing something, at least I'll quickly make out time to respond to whatever you want to find out from me. So I'm going to go to some comments, mails. This probably will be the last mail I'll do respond to, for unless the person has paid, but so don't send email again if you are not ready to pay. Do it on YouTube channel. That's the only place I'll be attending going forward now for free advice or expert advice. Okay, so let's come here. Okay, this is this email titled EW10J4 from Robin. So it reads, "Hey man, I just bought a 206 GTI 2.0 with EW10J4 RFR engine code. I have some questions you can maybe help me with. What's the difference between the RFR and RFN? So now RFR and RFN are codes that only issued for Peugeot. No, anyway, Peugeot engines, any Peugeot vehicle with EW10J4 engine. The other codes too that have EW10J4 has, depending on the injection system. The RFN, RFR is all about the system, the injection system. Even though it's the same engine, but the system differ. Components the engine work with, the ECUs and some other things. So those are the differences. So for the RFR, the major difference between RFR and RFN, at least, is that RFR does not have downstream oxygen sensor. So there's no sensor monitoring your catalytic converter. So that is one. Then on this same engine, RFR, I know their spark plug is also different from the RFN. But for example, that particular spark plug is not even available in Nigeria. I checked. So it may end up, it's not like completely different, but it has another spark plug recommended for it, which RFN does not have, or it's not recommended for RFN. So but you can still use the RFN spark plug on the RFR system. That's basically the main difference. And RFR, um, I think it's supposed to have more power than the RFN. I'm not so sure, but I think so. I think I came across that information a long time in the past, so it's supposed to have just a little bit more power. Okay, maybe I'm not so sure anymore, but that's what I think. Or I'm trying to think that I came across. No, so that's the difference. So, however, when it comes to RFN on EW10J4, there are countries, okay, let's just say Nigeria, their own is different from other European or Western world Peugeot vehicle that comes with this engine. RFN in Nigeria is basically the same system, or okay, not the same, but similar to that, in the sense that it also doesn't have downstream oxygen sensor, even though it's RFN, which in other, like in the Western world, yeah, I'm talking about Europe, the 406, 206, or whatever that were produced in Europe with RFN, they have downstream oxygen sensor. They have two oxygen sensors, the upstream and the downstream. But over here in Nigeria, the Peugeot that were produced or assembled in Nigeria that have RFN code, they did not have the downstream oxygen sensor. So it's as if they are basically the same thing with RFR. But the injection engine ECUs are different anyway, irrespective of the code. Or irrespective that they both don't have downstream oxygen sensor, but the ECUs are different. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. But generally, once you see RFR, just know that there's no downstream oxygen sensor. So if you are buying it, it means the system will not warn you if your catalytic converter is bad. You will have to now physically diagnose it without scan tool to know if your catalyst is bad, blocked, or absent, whatever. But the RFN, at least the standard RFN produced outside Nigeria, those ones have basically you can always, the system will warn you if something is wrong with your catalytic converter. Okay, so that is it for now, that one. I have oil leak coming from the rear main sail on the gearbox side. Is this bad? Since it says it's 206 GTI, so it means it's a manual transmission. So because I know all 206, they all had all 206 with 2.0 or EW10J4 had manual, no automatic. So you are referring to manual gearbox. You say I have an leak coming from the rear main sail on the gearbox side. Is this bad? There are two sails there on the gearbox. There's the sails for the CV joint, constant velocity joints. One is bigger, one is smaller. I want to believe it's the same with EW10J4. I can't remember if it's the same with the V6. So but usually the one is the one on the driver's side, that's the left side sail, is usually bigger than the one on the right side. So that I can confirm for your engine. They are very cheap, they are not expensive. Yeah, over time they will wear out and start leaking oil. But just have to change them. You have to remove the CV joint. That's, in other words, you are pulling out the complete drive shaft with the CV joints, to replace the sails. The other one, next question, it says, is 200,000 kilometer a lot for this engine? Um, I don't know. I know people, from what you're saying here, I don't know. It seems you're not in Nigeria. So, um, it's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned for someone like me that already understands vehicles, you know, to a large extent. Means if you're buying a used vehicle, mileage is irrelevant to me, you know. So that shouldn't be a yardstick. I'm not saying you should buy one with 1 million kilometer mileage. But I'm saying you could see a car with 50,000 kilometers with dead engine. That's my point. It all depends on how the vehicle was used. Yeah, with the wear and tear is there. As car is aging and being used, things will be wearing out. But like I said, it all depends on who used the vehicle, how it was maintained. As it's wearing out, someone that values his vehicle will keep replacing them gradually as they are failing. Of course, I know no matter how you try, there will be some things you won't bother to replace since they are not things that really affect the vehicle like that. Some it's not that you may not even know that they are bad. People just ignore them. But my point is, you could see a vehicle that have done 400,000 kilometers and it will be better condition than some that have yet to do up or get up to 100,000, because the person that will use, or the people that, or persons that use the 400,000 kilometer mileage one maintain the vehicle properly than the ones that they are using wrong oil, messing up their cooling system, pushing the engine speed excessively high at cold engine temperature or cold oil temperature, creating severe wear inside the engine. People that drive very rough on rough roads, bad roads, potholes, which will weaken the suspension faster, not just suspension, even the entire body. Because as you do all those things, if you are not fast enough to replace those weak suspension, you start affecting the body. You see the body, you just start collapsing. So it all depends. Like I said, some within a week you see all kinds of scratch on the vehicle body. Because they are so rough driving. They try following the vehicle in front, bumper to bumper. You must not give any space. Which, no matter what you do, one day you will hit. You can't be that. Once you do that kind of stupid drive, you will always look at people that do that. Look at their vehicles. Every now and then they are busy replacing their bumper. In fact, not even, because if they are actually spending that much on replacing their bumper, they will stop doing that. But they will just cover, bring out small chicken money to go and panel the bumper, fix it, spray it, keep doing it. Tomorrow it is the rear bumper, the next day is the driver's door. They keep doing until the vehicle looks horrible. And then they start to blame bad road. As if there are no other human beings that even have driven on that same road longer than the person. Yeah, the vehicle still looks very neat and intact. So it all depends on usage and maintenance. So for EW10J4, I don't think see anything. 200,000 kilometers to me is like you just starting life. Of course, but if badly maintained, yeah, the engine will not. 200,000 will be like it's already on the last leg. So my point is, I wouldn't bother about it if that's it's not an issue. But it doesn't mean it's possible that the one you have or considering to buy is already weak. So you can only replace the engine. Is very EW10J4 is very common engine. It's basically everywhere. So you can only replace it with a good used one. If you have the money, then you build. Are there some things I need to worry about with this engine? And the thing is, I don't know. You're asking these questions. You should have asked them before now. You made the purchase, so I don't. You should have asked this question before you made the purchase. So EW10 Gen4 is not the most powerful 2.0 liter engine Peugeot ever produced. However, it's not the most dullest or the most underpowered 2.0 liter Peugeot ever produced. I always see 2.0 as more like a fuel economical engine. It's quick depending on the vehicle. For like in 206, yeah, of course it will be much quicker than in 406. So it's I don't know how to say that. Maintenance wise, it's not expensive to maintain. Use the recommended oil. Keep your engine cooling system intact. you know I don't know, just drive normally the way you're supposed to drive without abusing the vehicle. Don't push it hard when the engine is cold. Wait for it to warm up. Let the oil get hot before, if you want to push hard, then you can go ahead. So, okay, so Robin, that is it. But like I say, I don't. It's as if you are not in Nigeria. Maybe you are. I don't know. Okay, so moving on. Next question. Okay, this I know this doesn't concern Peugeot, but there's something here I wanted to point out. It said Kia. This is the title. Kia Rio 2012 conversion from manual to automatic problems. Say hello, good evening, boss. Please, I would like some advice from you based on your vehicle conversion knowledge. About the Kia Rio 2012 already converted, which uses 1ZZ engine. It was working fine with no issues. Now the swapped engine got damaged by a careless boat driver. The mechanic bought some parts to replace it, but the car has refused to start. It's 6 months now. The mechanic is now claiming it's an electrical problem. He's very confused. Please, a word of advice. Like I said, it's not my area of specialization. Something caught my attention. He said the vehicle is Kia Rio. I don't understand what you mean. He said conversion from manual to automatic problem, but what you're saying here on the body of the mail is about engine. So, but what I actually want to talk about is, to me, does it occur to you? Okay, it's been long anyway. You sent this, but could it be that whatever that is happening to this vehicle could be as a result of the conversion? I'm saying, to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable to go and buy a car that is converted for one brand of engine to a different brand of engine to use it to run a business. That's where I'm coming from. I cannot, like you pointed out, I do conversions myself. I know what I'm doing. So if there's an issue, I'll know how to diagnose it, because most times, depending on how see, let me explain. Sometimes when you are converting a car from one engine to another, you can no longer be diagnosed the way factory recommend sometimes, or designed. Sometimes you have to go, you go beyond the normal way the vehicle is supposed to, because some modification probably have been done on the vehicle during the conversion. So it's no longer going to be just plugging in a scan tool or something. That's if it can even say, because from the look of things, it says 1ZZ engine. If I'm not a Toyota expert, but I want to believe the 1ZZ engine is a Toyota engine, and this is Kia Rio. So doing such swap, I don't know if one can still be able to scan that vehicle, considering that some modules will have to be replaced or changed or bypassed or cut off completely. So if, I don't know. So it means you have to be doing guesswork to be doing some diagnosis on the vehicle. So these are things people really don't actually understand. Because if you really want to do the conversion properly to work as in to be, you are going to spend more than probably the value of the vehicle. So in that case, does this make sense to do that? Because when people they just want to cut corners, they will just remove the engine, cut wire, join anyhow, just as long as the vehicle starts and move. But if you want to do it well to the point that you have to diagnose it like a normal, you may even have to buy aftermarket ECU, new ECU, change basically the entire wires on the vehicle, or depending, unless you have a donor car, which will also require replacement. But the point is, you end up spending more. So in that case, does it make sense to buy a car and go and do conversion to a different, not like you are doing for one Kia engine to another, completely different brand that has its own wiring, own module, different from the brand. I don't know. All I'm saying is this might not be the end of your issues. So me, I mean, don't. I'm just advising anybody, if you want to run this kind of business, don't go and buy a car that they did this kind of conversion on completely. As it's not like you are downgrading from V6 to 4 cylinder. This is complete as in wow. That's the only thing I wanted to talk about here. So every other thing I can't put a word here. Okay. So let's see. So this is a comment on YouTube. This I think this is an article which I write why you're lying on socks. Okay, so there's a comment here from Donna Ebella. These double gaskets are fitted to engine tops to lessen severity of burnt top cylinder gasket in events of car overheating. We are in the tropics and our vehicles are prone to overheating if cooling system malfunctions. This practice has worked well since I know without any negative effect on engine power performance except for poor workmanship. Water oil galleries around engine block be blocked if gasket is improperly fitted. Abnormality gasket should not be employed in this case, and I expect good mechanics should make good use of tensioners in fitting timing belts. Good to hear your thoughts. So this article, this part 3 of this series is about people that use I think that's why I explained on that article, people that use a non-recommended head gasket, usually the common one called pepper gasket, that are much thicker than the recommended. So what is this comment is saying, there's not negative effect. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I don't know how technical you are. Do you even understand the mechanism, the engine, how engine works? The more you start pushing the cylinder, the gap, increasing gap between the cylinder head and the pistons, the more it drives. I don't need to go all those things. You need to start driving the vehicle as a particular engine with different on a different vehicles with different maintenance culture from the owners, and different components are being replaced with something else to actually tell there's a difference between this and that. Any Peugeot engine that you put a cylinder head gasket that is thicker than the recommended, it will affect the engine power. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know as a technician that repairs and drive up people's cars with different head gasket. I know that this one is behaving poorly than the one that have the genuine one. So don't stop saying what you are not sure of. Before you make such things, go and do your research well. Or you can you join us in doing repairs. So actually learn practically, not theory people say online. It does affect it once you put something thicker. And this idea of you said you are in a topic. This all these beer parlor talks people talk about in Nigeria, especially they say such things like when it comes to engine cooling system thermostat. Oh, we are hotter. Nigeria is hotter than sun, so we don't need thermostat. So all those crap. So that's kind of statement you're making that we are over here, that we don't need a light gasket recommended for the engine. Why don't you come and see my vehicles? How many of them, even though I live in the northern part of the country, that is hotter than the other regions, how many of them have I replaced their head gasket and put the thicker, recommended ones? With all this my insane drive, as in what I mean, the way I drive, the way I push them excessively hot, yet none of them has ever had any cost. So let me not waste my time. So all these things people talk about, environment, this and that will affect your gasket. Come on. These are, like I said, these are for beer parlor talks, or people who have drank and beginning to lose, I don't know. So that's wrong. I'm not asking you or anyone not to use, because I know in 504, I use 504 since 90. I started driving GL 1997. Yes. Those who know me when I back then in Anambra State and Enugu, if I'm lying, you can tell. Started driving 504G as early as 1997. I was driving something else before then, before I switched to 504. So I know the difference when he had because when I picked it up, my father then, I think he did some work before on the engine and they put two. I know the difference when I put only one. And I was also driving other people's cars. My uncle had a 505 at that time with the same engine and every other this thing. I remember when he bought and put only one's gasket, how the engine started responding to acceleration compared to when he had two gaskets that were making drone noise. I was also saying that it's not just about modern Peugeot car. Even as older car Peugeot, once you put head gasket that is thicker, that widens and push the cylinder head further away from the pistons. You know what? Just go and do this. Is just a basic thing. Go and learn it first. Maybe use Google, search for it. What's the effect of cylinder double or triple or thicker cylinder head gasket than the recommended one? Just go. I'm talking about the science behind it. You then come back and tell me again. So there's a negative effect. However, people do it in Nigeria because, number one, ignorance. They don't even know. In fact, ignorant to the point that the owner don't even know that's what they have, because they might have issue, not even overheating. Maybe their timing belt broke and they need to deal with the damaged valves, replace, and in that case you have to remove your cylinder head. Now putting it back, give the mechanic money. The mechanic will go and buy Sometimes they may even tell you to bring money for the so-called original. Buy the paper one instead of, or maybe they do it, you know, innocently, that this is the best, or so they will just collect money for the paper one without explaining that there's actually an OEM or a quality one. It doesn't have to be OEM, as long as it has that recommended thickness with quality material, you know. Because, everybody goes and buy. And one funny thing with all those paper one, those cheap ones, they don't last. Some people will tell you it's as if a head gasket is meant to fail at some point, as in sooner than you expect. So you see some people every year or two they are changing their head gasket because they keep buying those failed ones without even having any variety. One day you now realize that your temperature gauge is shooting up. Because as thick as those gaskets, those inferior ones are, because of the material they use, over time they will start to flatten, and then that gap will be there, and start messing up the engine. Water, sometimes you see water even pouring or coolant pouring from the ceiling, as in directly from the gasket out of the engine, not even into the combustion chamber, as in out. You see it dropping from the engine block when they get flat. So I don't recommend it, but anybody, people do it. I can't tell you not to do it, and I won't stop you not to buy a vehicle with that, because I've been buying cars, especially the ones Nigerian used vehicles. We're buying it for people when they have those things. I recommend you they change it and put it back to the recommended head gasket. You see your engine power, the power immediately will come back. There's no two ways about it. Response acceleration will be much better. Engine full power will be there, especially when lower RPM. Unlike those ones with thicker, that will the engine will just be shouting, but no commensurate movement. So I don't go and, like I said, it's not about theory. Start getting practical, start going to workshops, start doing some of this work, start driving other people's cars with different engines and all those things. Then you can come back and tell me there's no negative effect. There is. Okay, next. Okay, this is it okay? A question on a video I shared long ago. This from Jegede. It says, good evening, Ken. Just came across your channel. Good work. I want to switch to Peugeot 406 V6 2004. But after I heard your comment of 407 V6 Phase 2, I'm now confused. Considering the legendary speed and balance of the 406, will the 407 have same feel and balance? Please advise. The 406 is good, it's balance, we call it some, people call it just balance, more about stability to me on high speed. So, yeah, it's good, but compared to 407, wow, no, 407 will beat 406. It beats it. No, it's not like weird. It's 406 is not a match to 407 when it comes to road handling, especially 407 V6. No, it's much better in terms of what Nigerians call balance or high speed. So it's very stable, very stable. It's actually very good to drive on high speed. Now phase 2 is where it is. If you want to enjoy phone, let me put it there. If you want to enjoy 407 V6 one that actually has, that can give you that power, that comes with that name. If you can, go for the phase 2 or 407 coupe. Same engine, but there is a tweak somewhere that makes them much, much faster or quicker than those other phase 1 saloon station wagon. I believe could be the ECU or whatever. I'm not interested in what it is, but the difference is there. Once you drive any of these two, if you drive a 407 coupe, whether phase 1, phase 2, drive a 407 V6 saloon, well, I haven't driven station wagon phase 2, but saloon V6 phase 2, and you drive phase 1, no matter how new they are, you know the difference will be there. So if you want that V6 quickness, go for phase 7, phase 2 V6, or if you can get your hand on a cool, you will understand. So 406 still quicker, 406 V6, especially the ES9 J4S. It's still quicker than 407. 407 V6 is quicker, but just a 407 V6 overall in terms of handling. It has also better braking system. So the only 407 you can get that you enjoy the braking system is like the 406. Okay, I hope I got it right. I said the only 406 V6 you can buy and enjoy that the braking system has a performance one that is similar or if not better than the 407 V6 is the 406 V6 coupe. 406 V6 coupe. They come, at least by our standard, they come with performance braking system, which the brand they use was Brembo. It's one of the best in the world when it comes to braking system, performance braking system. So, I mean, mine had the standard one because it's saloon. I converted it to that of the coupe one. I mean, the difference is there. So you don't have to, So, but like I said, 406, 407 V6 standard, the braking system is much more powerful than 406 V6. Both handling is better. It's just that 406 also outshines 406 V6 outshines 407 V6 also in some areas. So it's not up to you, I don't know how to say, because I can't say this is go for this one, because each of them has their own. It depends on what you're after. Each of them have their strengths and weaknesses. So it could be that the strength of 406 may outweigh that of the 407 for you, and so you wouldn't mind. So it all depends. Can drive the two, can see which one that works for you. So if I go for 407, go for the phase 2 if you can. Then be ready. Understand, don't mistake it. If you try to do all this nonsense Nigerians do, everything money, everything cut corners, 407 will deal with you mercilessly. He doesn't care. I say that car, that anyway, it's good to experience some things rather than explaining anyway. If I'm saying it, I look like I'm just trying to make math. All right. Okay, this is another question from Jegede. Okay, I think probably I've already responded to this. This video is so insightful. I think I did this video titled "Should I go for Peugeot 407 with EW12 J4 stick or EW10 J4 stick?" You are asking, would you advise 407 V6 manual? You can only get 407 V6 manual in coupe, not in saloon or station wagon. the project did not produce any of this with them. So um, if you see any saloon or station wagon V6407 manual, that means someone they converted it to manual. So it wasn't, they were all automatic from new. So it can be done. After I converted my coupe to manual, so anybody can do it if you have the money. The bar, I mean money, I mean you're willing to spend, not because you spend though. You have to be willing, and then the technical know-how too, because it's not plug and play. The only time it will be plug and play is if you can find a 407 coupe manual V6, then you do every transfer of everything. But then if you find it, you can as well buy it, and because the reason you can only do the conversion of automatic to this is because the manual one is very, very scarce. You know, I didn't pursue this that much, that coupe, 407 coupe. So they did, but you know, people are still using it. They don't want to. The ones that are signing up are mostly automatic, not the manual one. The manual one, the value is very high. So, right. I hope that has answered your question. Okay, this another one. It says share your, this my video, the video I did titled share your project experience. Okay. So someone's commented by name Aisha is so Aisha said my project 2003 307 automatic transmission is the worst car I've gotten. In fact, it just showed me ABS fault, brake fault, automatic gear fault. Checking for those problems on YouTube was how I stumbled across your channel. Well, I don't think if this is the only problem you're having, how many things, like 3 things you listed, then I don't think you even have a problem. As in, compared to what 307 does to some people that abuse their ideas. So if this is, I mean, if I could just summarize what is, I'll think of, okay, what could even be an issue. If you have an ABS fault, because ABS and brake fault, they are basically, ABS is brake system, so a braking system. So if you have a braking system issue and it's since yours is automatic, your automatic will not work. Automatic transmission will not work well. So it's possible your transmission is good, but because of that ABS, it won't allow it to work well. So you have to fix, or let's assume 2 of them are faulty. Before you even bother to fix your gearbox, you have to deal with the ABS first. If you don't deal with the ABS, you're wasting your time. It's only manual that you can do with that, you know, even if your ABS faulty, you can drive to bleeding without, as long as you know, since your ABS is not working, you have to be careful how you drive. But for it to affect the vehicle, nada. Unless maybe it's a serious problem like the one that can make it catch fire and burn. But I'm saying, you won't affect no power, nothing, you move, drive. Depend, anyway, for 307, for example, phase 1 307, the ABS block or ABS pump can fail and the vehicle will not start. Yeah, I'm telling you. The phase 1 307, depending on how bad the block, failure is, can fail. Once if especially if it burns, the vehicle will not start. Sometimes not even burning, you just enter, you do everything, you will not start until you change the pump. So I don't know. You said 2003, so yours is phase 1 anyway. I don't know. You've gotten. Did you buy it abused? Because that's the thing. Probably you bought it messed up. Well, that's the consequences of doing that. So you may have to spend fortune Or you may keep spending, especially you keep doing one from one problem to the other before you even want to get some relief from the one you spent. Another one will come up because that's one thing with abused vehicles. Instead of you to spend once and relax and have peace of mind for a long time before another comes up, immediately the next day or so another is coming up because the car is messed up. So as you are fixing the other ones too are already behind waiting for you. So that's why I tell people avoid these things. I don't know why people are so fixated. Pay money somebody to get one that will not give you that kind of problem. To you, it's not logical. It doesn't make sense to pay an expert to save you from such nightmare, to save you from spending your hard-earned money every now and then at the workshop, repairing one fault or the other, until you get into the issue. For example, now, for you to say that your vehicle is one of the worst vehicles means you must have spent so much with the mental torture and the emotional torture as well, or both. You know, is it worth it? Which one is better? Pay an expert to get one to avoid all those trouble, or risk it and see what happens. Of course, some people do go and there are no issue years after. But like I say, it's up to you. If the risk is worth it, you try. So it's possible, or maybe go jumping from one wrong hand to the another. That's why you're suffering. So I can't tell you what, but like I said, what you said here is two things: ABS, automatic transmission. So if your ABS is not good, your automatic transmission will never work well. As far as 307 is concerned. Is it not AL4? It's AL4 gearbox now. So I know that's how they behave. So you need to deal with the braking system. And then the automatic gearbox in 307. I've done so many videos on that. So there is a way out. I've said it. So I don't want to dwell on that in this video. But you have to spend. Okay, another question from Jegede. He said, can one convert the full V6 auto to manual transmission? Okay, I've answered that. You have to be willing to spend and technical know-how, because it's not plug and play. Problem now is when I start telling people, will they be able to pay me to do it? It's easy. They'll be looking at, is it not 5,000? Is it not 20,000? Is it not this thing? You have no idea what it takes to actually do conversion to come out the way I do mine. Okay, what's the cost of Peugeot 460? And that's the title of the video I did. And so this is Dynamo 99. It says, so is it possible to upgrade the old key to the new one with 2 buttons? That's 460. I've never done it. I don't know. Well, is it possible? It could be. But I've never done it, because doing it means you have to buy and try. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, but the truth is, I don't think we'll be able to find this remote key, the one button remote key for 406 anymore. Brand new. I don't think so. So, and I don't think you can use a remote control that has been programmed. Maybe it's possible. I've never tried it. You program for another vehicle to program it. So it's likely you are going to buy only new one, and that new one for one button, I don't know if it's possible to buy, because like I said, one button one seems not to be available. So the 2 button ones is what is available. You could buy and try, but I know because the BS size of these two, The Peugeot 406 that has the two button and the one button, their BSI units are different. So I don't know if the one or one but two buttons will work on one button BSI. So I don't know. You have to. It's possible, but I don't know. Marriage should not be a priority. So this is one of the videos I published recently. So this guy, Fave Adams. So he said, spot on. If you are heavy footed, you definitely burn that clutch. Easily, another advantage of knowing the mileage could be the timing chain replacement. You wouldn't want to risk that going wrong. Um, I'm not sure I understand this comment about timing belts, the timing chain replacement, because this video what I talked about was people buying cars, searching for cars to buy and making mileage their priority. That's how low the mileage is determine whether they will buy or not. So I try to explain to people how insignificant it is, especially when it's a Nigerian used vehicle. Anyway, I don't want to go into this. But yeah, you're saying the reason why I want to know is because of timing chain replacement. I don't know if you mean now one should be able to know the mileage so that you know when to replace timing belt, or if you are saying, oh, you need to know the mileage of or look for car with less mileage or so that the timing belt. Okay, I don't understand what, but however, whichever one it is, it's meaningless if you're buying the whether Tokumbo, Nigerian user, as long as it's already used and the engine uses timing belt, not chain. Replace it. Me, I always tell people, once you make the payment, if it's the next day, go and replace that timing belt. I don't care if the previous owner said he replaced it the previous day. Unless I was there when they were doing the replacement and I saw what they put in and I was sure that it was done properly. They did the tensioning well, did everything well. If not, out. That's why I do it. Out. New one in. Because the new one I'm putting, of course, I'll know the quality has to be as good. Well, it doesn't have to be OEM. What I'm saying is about quality. There are things you don't manage. Try to even, because the belt, how much it is. Yeah, you could say not cheap. But compared to buying another engine, how much? Because you could say, oh, is it not valve? No, sometimes when the timing belt breaks, the valve will do its thing, damage, destroy itself. But then sometimes it ends up destroying the engine in the process, not just only the valve. I've got cases where people bought their vehicles that are EW10J4 mostly itself. I can count up to 3. Okay, not only even TU5JP4. I know this person, though the person has passed on now, transition. But I remember then, just timing belt this thing. And I warned him when he got that car to Kumbo, go and do this thing. Eventually it happened. Kept using it 1 year, 2 years, boom. Or so, I can't remember. Funny enough, it wasn't him that was driving the car that particular day it happened. Since then, the car started smoking. Did everything we refused. Just after, even though they did everything, changed it kept smoking horribly. Started losing power. Eventually, I had to change the engine. I also know another person too. Same thing. Change the timing belt. Actually, he changed the timing belt, but he didn't change the auxiliary belt. Guess what? The auxiliary belt failed. Affected the joint. We entered inside the timing chamber and boom. Caused the same damage that timing belt will do when it caused. The engine started smoking immediately. Did everything. It was just smoking horribly, power law, everything. I had to change. There are some said they won't have any other. In fact, as is the valve is damaging itself or breaking or cracking, some even go and hit the piston and crack piston. There was one EW10GF, I remember at one workshop I was there. They tore the vehicle in, they moved the cylinder head. As the valve hit, we are hitting the piston. One of them now went and cracked the cylinder head, damaged the cylinder head. So sometimes that's why I say avoid it. Don't even wait for anything. So if you are buying any used vehicle, Peugeot used vehicle that uses timing belt, the first money you check. I always marvel, sometimes I see people, they buy a car, that very day, so not even the next day, they will rush to buy engine oil, change oil. Come on. That money you are using to buy engine oil, use it to buy timing belt and auxiliary belt. Even if you can't afford to change the complete timing kit, start with the belt. Let them remove it and check if the rollers, the tensioner, maybe might still be okay. Or if one of them is weak, if you can't afford new one, maybe use one as far as it's still good. It's still better. At least those two, timing belt or zero belt, out. Because I've seen what it does to people when they break. As in, it's many people that their issues were beyond just the valve that ended up damaging the engine. So I don't, so mileage, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking for a car to buy, stop looking at mileage. Have that understanding that it doesn't matter whether it's 5,000 kilometers or 10,000 or 100,000. You are changing the timing belt as soon as the vehicle becomes yours. Immediately. If you can't afford it, I've told stories. When I bought my phone, it was Tokumbo. Guess what? I went and parked the vehicle. At that time, I didn't have much. So I was like, okay, let me leave this car there for now. Took about, I don't even remember. I didn't use the car until I changed the timing belt. This is so that I know that timing belt hardly breaks. But I didn't care. I needed it out. How many years now? So people should be wise. Okay, I think that is it. So I don't think I still have any other thing to talk about. Yeah. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. These are the ones I can deal with now. So any other time, if I have chance, I'll talk about. I just go to, like I say, once a week or so. But like I say, it's not a priority. Like I must read and respond to this thing because it's for free. So if it's for free, it means it has to be at my own time whenever I have the time or remember. And when I come, I'll pick and choose, not all. So if I don't pick yours, yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't afford to respond to all questions or, unless if you want me to respond, then you pay. All right, so see you guys on next time.